Hey, this is Mark Swanson from MTC Media. So Maryland finally defeats Hunter Dickinson and Michigan. The Terps controlled the game from the beginning to end, and there's 64-58 win over the Wolverines. You can tell how this game went and how Maryland played in comparison to Michigan just by the pressers alone. Juwan Howard's presser was almost funeral-like, very, very down. That's their third loss in 4 games, whereas Kevin Willard's presser was upbeat, even though he kept getting asked questions about the first game, which he referenced several times, that he had moved on from that. The Terps led by as many as 13 points. Michigan's only lead was at 2-0. Maryland was led by Jahmir Young's 26 points. Hakeem Hart was the only other Terp in double figures. He had 10. For Maryland, Dickinson had 19 points and 10 rebounds. Jett Howard had 13 points, but it took 4 for 14 shooting for his 13 points. And I thought that Dickinson's numbers were extremely misleading. The Terps were able to push him off of the block most of the night. 9 of his 19 points came on 3-pointers, which is not what you would think is the most impactful thing from Michigan as a whole, if that's where Dickinson is getting his points. I didn't feel like he did anything to impact this game, which has not been the case when Dickinson has usually played Maryland. But Maryland won this game because they owned the paint. All night they were able to get 2 feet in the paint, especially Jahmir Young, who seemed to live in the paint most of the night. There was no intimidation. They were constantly taking it to Dickinson's chest with no regard. And even seldom used Swanton Rogers dunked it right on Dickinson's head, which made the crowd here at Xfinity go pretty nuts, as much as they dislike Dickinson's presence. At the end of the day, the Terps outscored the Wolverines 42-22 in the paint. So up next for Maryland is a trip to Purdue, probably the toughest team in the country, nevertheless, in the Big Ten, and then they'll return home for a 3-game home stay-in, which should help Maryland because they have played really, really well here at home. That's it tonight from Xfinity. Once again, Maryland with the victory over Michigan, 64-58. Mark Swanson from MTV.